He's put himself out there to everybody. You know, he's true, he wears it right on his shirt sleeve, so you know. And I want to welcome Mike up here so he can tell you a little bit about himself.
Hello everyone, how are we doing today? Doing well, thank you. Let me start off with just introducing myself. My name is Michael Vasquez. Many of you may have seen me at several events. I was speaking in Endicott, New York, at the Sons of Italy event. Some of you see me on the campaign road. You may have seen me on the news. I do need to make you aware, if you haven't heard about it previously, I'm no longer running for the New York 22nd District of New York. I stepped out of the race on April 2nd to support Claudia Tenney, Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney, because she falls in line with everything that I believe, including supporting the repeal of this unfair, unjust law. Matter of fact, she was one of the first people to go out there on the day of fighting against it, trying to get the votes to prevent it from taking place, and she was the first one to put out a repeal of that law and ask for that vote. But that's not why I'm here today. And that's not what I wanted to speak about. Today I'm here to talk about something that's very important. We're talking about two would-be kings. That's President Obama, that's Governor Andrew Cuomo. These are men that want to take our rights and put them in their pocket. These are individuals who are enacting laws that don't help us, but they're abusing our concerns about our families, our friends, our safety, and they're using that against us to infringe on our rights. And we have to step up and we have to make sure that that does not happen, and it will never happen again in the future. Now, I understand, not only as a former Marine, the son of a Vietnam Marine, the importance of the Second Amendment and all of our rights across, and especially its comparison to anywhere else in the world. But I also have a personal impact here. About 4 years ago, I had a drug-crazed man break into my home Saturday night at 4 in the morning. His only intention was to do harm. This individual, when he broke into my house, luckily I have thick doors, made a little bit of noise coming through. Woke me up in the middle of the night. I had some friends over, including a 6-month pregnant woman. Got them all into a safe room, barricaded the door, shouted down to him to let him know that I called the police to get out of the house. Just leave. I didn't want to take the risk of having anyone injured. I didn't know how many people were there. So I just said, get out. Just leave. Take whatever it is and get out. The police are going to be here any moment. I don't want to have to do anything. Instead, that individual came upstairs, tried to break down my barricade door. And you know internal doors are not thick. I was the final line of defense for the women that were in the house that day. If he broke through that door, what was going to protect me? A gun-free zone? Was it going to be the fact that I no longer could have my, quote, assault shotgun? What was going to save people? Now, as it wound up, the story has a good end in that no one got killed. And he was arrested very shortly after that. Thank God for the response of the police, and I thank them and commend them for that. But if we were to have the New York Unsafe Act in effect, and the police took 1 minute more, I don't know that I would be here today to be able to speak to you. I don't know that woman who was pregnant that day, I don't know that her daughter would be born today. I don't know what would happen. That's the reality that they're doing. They're making us less safe because the criminals are not being affected by these laws. Just law-abiding citizens like you and me. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this today, and it's very important. We must act. It is not enough for us to just speak about these things and to speak out about these things. It's one of the reasons why I spent a year running for Congress. We must act on the local level and in the state level. The the national level with our vote. And I want to put some perspective in this for people, because I know a lot of people say, well, my vote doesn't count, it's not going to matter. In the New York 22nd District, there are no Democrats running. None. They gave up. There are only Republicans. In 2012, the primary for the Republican race, 15,000 votes. All there were. Now, to put that in perspective, 720,000 people live in the New York 22nd District. 165,000 of them are registered Republicans. 134,000 of them are registered Democrats. 15,000 people. That means 7,501 person decided who would be the Republican candidate. This year, without a Democrat, there is no race. This is it. The primary is the election. The person who wins, 7,501 person, that person goes to Congress to represent us. And we have a choice. We can have a person who's out there who will speak up and say, Mr. President, you cannot put out 23 laws, executive orders, I should say, executive orders to restrict my Second Amendment rights because you don't have that power. That's what Congress is for. And you don't have that power because the Constitution says you don't. Or you can have an individual who stands back and says, instead of coming to meetings like this in Endicott, New York, didn't send a representative. What he sent was a letter. And the letter said, I have 100% NRA rating.
You're right. You're right.
That's our choice. And 7,501 people can either allow him to continue to do that and not stand up, not speak out about the Unsafe Act in New York, to not speak out against our president when he does unlawful actions. When we see these men who are trying to be kingmakers, or rather become kings themselves, we can either have them speak out and stop that and defend us, or we can elect them. And that means getting out and voting. And every vote matters. Because when it's 7,501, that's less than 1% of the people in the district. That is a number that you and your friends, just together, a handful of people, will change the election. 6 million gun owners. We can elect anybody we want in New York State. The power is with us. They have forgotten that. They believe that, well, we can pass a law and you will not pay attention, that you won't notice. Give it enough time, you'll just go with it. It's not true. It's not their choice. They don't have those rights. We have the power, we have the rights. And we only lose them when we allow them to do as they wish without standing up. And there are many forms, as has been said already. Non-compliance. Getting out there, making people aware of what these laws actually mean to us. Real world stories, like my example, of what this impacts on our lives. And most importantly, getting out and registering and actually making the vote, because it does actually matter. And it has an immediate impact. We can change these things. We can repeal these things. We can make sure that they will not happen again in 5 years, in 10 years, when they think we've forgotten. Because we should never forget. And we have to make sure the youth coming up today are aware. These aren't, like Common Core says, the Second Amendment isn't a conditional right. It is our right, unconditionally. And we have to defend that.
Right.
Just want to take another moment. I think I have just a little more time. When you speak to people, this is true, New York, Pennsylvania, anywhere you go, please let them understand. Please make them understand not only does their vote count, it's even bigger than that. Just showing up matters. When you make that vote, when you go to a candidate and you support them, when you put $20, no one understands the power of this. I've run as a candidate. I understand what's going on in politics. I'm a political commentator for 7 years. I understand what happens with politicians. If 10,000 people put $20 towards one candidate that they believe in, every politician pays attention. Do you know why? Because with $20, pizza for one night, you've made a commitment. You're invested now directly into that race and that individual. And most people will step forward. Yeah, I'm invested in this. I'm going to go out and vote. I'm going to make sure this person is doing what they said. I'm going to listen to what's going on in that debate. Every politician knows that. They know that there's another 1,000 people who didn't put in that money but that believe the same thing. And they will jump through hoops to make sure that whatever those 10,000 people want, they're going to make sure it's going to happen. Because they're afraid of losing their position and their power. So first we want to register. Then we want to support someone we believe in. And I guarantee you in doing that, we will get the laws we want passed. But we have to take that action first. You can do this. We are not alone. Don't let the media fool you. We are together. We can do this. And we have the power. They can only take it away from us if we give it away. And I'm not about to do that. And I'm sure neither are you. I want to thank you all for coming out today. I know it's a beautiful day. It's the first beautiful day we've got since the winter. And I know a lot of people want to be out there. Would love to be golfing. But this is important. I thank you for recognizing that, taking the time today. And when you walk away from here today, just understand, you're great people. This is one of the most important things you could possibly do. I thank you for every minute that you've been here and for all the speakers. And just a quick little thought, I've got some materials out there for Claudia Tenney, and I'll be happy to explain why I stepped out of the race and support her at this point. But I just want to thank you all again.
It's still New York Revolution, but we have this Pennsylvania arm. So Ray Larkin from Pennsylvania is going to talk to you about
Before Mr. Vasquez steps out, I think he needs to be commended for stepping out.